I hit record instead of live.
Okay, see? I get it.
One of these days I'll get
it
it right. One of these days I'll get it right. I can't.
It happens. It is. So do I have to go through the explanation of NVIDIA
No, you don't,
RTX voice
because
again?
nobody's going to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no. We're just going to leave it as an inside conversation with you and I. So how do I sound, though? Like,
You sound great.
Does it sound okay?
I think you sound great.
Like,
How many fans do you have on in the background?
I have two. I have two fans going right now. I've got one mini one over there. We'll call that my fandinity.
Okay,
over to my right or my left on the screen. And I've got like a portable AC unit that I usually have hooked up to the window going right now.
So
and
you have your own fandinity.
I've got my own fandinity. And Big Black Fan is what we're gonna call. That's what we're gonna call the other one. And can you hear it? Can you hear Big Black Fan?
I can't hear anything. It's pretty great.
Yeah. NVIDIA RTX voice is ridiculous. As long as you've got an NVIDIA graphics card, which I'd say like 60% of the marketplace does, you can generally use RTX voice. You might have to play around with the installer a little bit, but it's great, man. It is. It's a fantastic little program. Like, I was doing some testing with it a little bit earlier, in how exactly it would cut out certain audio, and like I could get it to take out stuff like desk smacks and me snapping my fingers and clapping and stuff like that. But it's a pretty powerful little program. I like it. I like it a lot.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, I should probably try to use it because I'm typing right now, and because I forgot to make a live tweet. I'm always forgetting stuff.
Like we said, this is the Bill O'Reilly show. We're just doing it live.
Yeah, we're doing it live.
Just do it live. Do it live. Speaking of, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 241 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Quick and dirty edition. This week, we have got two hosts for you. Two. The one, the only, Dan Finity.
Oh, hi. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm not bad. This is we've got some stuff to talk about here.
I think so.
For the world of Destiny.
I think so.
And of course, I am the Black Link, and we're going to be going through what's been going on in Destiny over the past 2 weeks. We didn't have an episode last week for Memorial Day, and of course, we're going to be talking about stuff like the Fellwinter's Lie quest, the shotgun itself, some of the changes that are going to be coming in future seasons, as well as what's going on next week in Destiny. Because of course, we are 1 week away from the release of Season 11.
Yeah, a week and 2 days.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot of time left to become worthy or almighty if you're still hunting down those titles. So we'll spend a little bit of time.
Or Flawless.
Is Flawless going away too?
I think so, right? Or it's like restarting. I think Conqueror and
it might be restarting.
Flawless are restarting, right?
Yeah, that would make sense to me if those two were sitting there restarting instead of disappearing, because those are going to be consistent activities that are going to go on into future seasons, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
No, I got Conqueror. I
finished
Conqueror. Yeah.
Oh man, we're gonna have to spend some time talking about that and the grind it took to get there. But before we get on into the show, of course, given current events in the world, I did want to take a little bit of time to stop and say, everybody out there, stay safe. The world may be crazy, but you don't need to be.
Yeah.
Keep yourself and your loved ones safe out there, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the future. Oh, but you know what a lot of people weren't looking forward to seeing in the future?
No.
You know, I thought this was going to be a good segue, but given the way Season of the Worthy is gone, it's now occurring to me that there's probably a lot of things people weren't looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, honestly.
There was no good hint there. I did a bad job. I did a bad job
too. If I should have been on the same wavelength.
Did you not get my psychic beamings to you of what I was saying? It was a Fellwinter's Lie reference.
Oh,
I was going to start the show talking about that, but like,
all right.
I just kept coming up with other examples, like, well, What else would people not want to look forward to?
What else? What else is there that people are upset about right now in Destiny 2?
Whatever Guardian Games was.
Oh. Yeah.
But anyways, Fellwinter's Lie, the Lie Quest. We got that a week or so ago. We got it done. We completed, speaking of things nobody wants to do again, that public event, that community event that was tied into getting it. We got the quest done. Neat little quest at the end of it. I like that they brought back sort of the narrative stylings that they had at the beginning of Destiny 2 with the class quest, where you're kind of like walking through an area and learning a story. I think that's criminally underused as a narrative device here in Destiny 2, so I'm happy to see that back. But also, we got a shotgun at the end of it. I'm assuming you've gotten that shotgun, Dan.
I did get the shotgun. I did.
What do you think of Fellwinter's Lie?
It's a gun that is in my collections.
In your collection, so not in your inventory.
I mean, I think it's on a character because I was told not to delete it because for a while there it wasn't in collections.
Yeah.
And then, I have no idea. I think I've used it a couple times and was like, I got it. It feels like I'm firing a wooden block around, and yeah, I've got other stuff that I use. So
that seems to be a big consensus for Fellwinter's Lie. It's kind of like an alternative to like Mindbender's Ambition, or kind of an alternative to Astral Horizon. Like if you're rocking the Astrals, then you can pair that with something like the Summoner. And if you don't have an Astrals you can rock Fellwinter's Lie, you'll get basically the same level of performance and still be able to use something like Surus Regime. So it's not really overpowered, but what it is very consistent. It's a very consistent shotgun. And that probably has a lot to do with the shot package perk on it. What that generally does, I don't know if you've done a lot of testing with it, but it takes the spread of the pellets that you're firing out and makes it much more uniform. Okay. Whereas all other shotguns, the further away from a target you get, the more those pellets spread out, kind of hit a wide berth, so you have way more of a chance of missing some of those pellets at range. Shot package, like Parcel of Stardust. That's what basically makes that shotgun worthless. Pretty, but worthless.
Yeah.
Fellwinter's keeps kind of like a hexagon sort of shape with that pellet spread at a much, much larger range. So you get way more consistent, like 7 to 8 meter kills in PvP. Sometimes 9 meters, although that's pretty darn rare. So it doesn't supersede Astral Horizon. It doesn't replace your perfectly rolled Mindbenders. But if you haven't gotten one of those, if you're somebody who doesn't play Trials, if you're somebody who hasn't grinded out that shotgun, because why would you do that? Fellwinter's is for you.
Yeah. So how did you feel about the quest overall?
It was about what I expected.
Yeah.
I didn't really expect much more than a quick history lesson kind of hastily thrown together, and that's essentially what we got. Like I said earlier, they basically reused. I saw a lot of people complimenting Bungie on the quest structure, and I was like, well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad quest, but they basically just did what they did with class quests at the beginning of Destiny 2, where you're just walking around and hearing lore, which is cool. I like that. I want more stuff like that. How about you?
I liked that final quest. I kind of wish that there was something to shoot at the end of it, but I'm not going to complain.
With the new gun that they gave you, yeah.
Oh, that would have been cool, right? Like you pick it up and you equip it like the next step is to equip the weapon, and you do that before you leave, and then all of a sudden you got like guys coming out. Like what if you had Siva guys coming out at you?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and you fight the Siva guys.
I mean, like, a little weird since Rasputin controls Siva.
Yeah, lore-wise, it wouldn't make any sense. But
but then again, this whole quest didn't make any sense. Or like, Fellwinter is his kid, and he killed him, and the Iron Lords because he got pissy.
Well, I mean, that whole lore book is incredible. I thought the lore book was really excellent.
That was cool, yeah.
But yeah,
I also like that you get lore pieces for using Fellwinters.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, it just was like, it was cool. I wanted like a little bit more out of the end, but I think I think with everything in Destiny right now, everybody's just like, I want a little bit more, and it's it can be that can be an issue. So I don't know. I thought it was fine. Post getting it. Once again, it's in my collections. I'm using other stuff.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely my go-to shotgun for PvP now because I didn't have a perfectly rolled Mindbenders. I had a decent one, but Fellwinter's is proving to be a bit more consistent. So whenever I need to shotgun ape in PvP, whenever Retribution shows up as the PvP map, and I'm just like, oh boys, it's shotgun alley time. It's Fellwinter's that I'm usually whipping out. It's a pretty good PvP weapon. As for the quest, it was what I expected.
Yeah,
I didn't expect anything more, and I got what it was.
Exactly. Like I still think it was backwards a little. The Seraph Tower thing probably should have been like right at the end.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. There's people charging like $250 to get Fellwinter's line now, and it's like, well, is it really worth that $250 if you skipped out on the major pain point of that quest? I'd say maybe it's free now. I think.
Wait, they're charging $250 to get Fellwinter's.
Yeah,
but for what? For the 1,000 shotgun kills?
I don't know.
That you can do in 20 minutes at Shirochi?
Yeah. That's like $1 for every 4 enemies, right? Right?
Who is making this money, and where can I sign up?
I don't
Please.
know. I don't know. They keep making ads on YouTube.
Look. If you're out there, if you ain't got the time, if you ain't got none of that time to get your Fellwinters, you don't need to go to some sketchy website and put in your bank credit card and PayPal information. You need to do a Cash App for your Fellwinters. Come to me. Come to your boy. I'll do it for $5. You give me $5, I'll go grind out those shotgun kills. You will have your shotgun within 30 minutes.
I will hang out with you in chat and just talk to you for free.
Absolutely. While I'm earning you your shotgun. Absolutely. $5. I'll get you your Fellwinter's for $5.
I will be moral support for free. And be like, you go get him, man. Couple more rounds. You got this.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe that. It doesn't even take long to get.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing the PvP part, it's like what, a little over 100 kills?
Something like that.
But don't do the PvP part.
Yeah.
Go to Shirochi. There's nobody else there. It's a solo instance.
Whisper mission. Yeah.
If you're too lazy to do the wish wall thing for Shirochi, load up the openly available Whisper quest that's available to everybody who owns this game. Make your way to the green room. There's only 8 billion YouTube tutorials showing you how to get there.
It takes you 2 minutes to get there. It takes you 2 minutes to get there, and you have 20 minutes. You have 18 minutes to like knock out the rest.
Nah, man, we're messing with somebody's hustle right now. There is some angry listener who's like, hey man, I just made an industry for myself. I'm trying to pay for my kids' college with this Fellwinter's lie carry. I'm
fine with that. Be sure to, if you're angry with me, hit me up on Twitter at Danfinity, where the eyes are eyes.
Oh, that blows my mind.
Anyways.
Anyways.
Yeah, so Fellwinter's quest, like, I thought it was fine. I don't know. It was backwards in a lot of ways, quest step wise. It's a fine weapon. I don't find myself using it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's it.
Yep.
It's here. It's done. We got our gun.
You have 9 days to get it. You have 9 more days to get it.
So is it confirmed that it's going away?
I think so, right? Because is the new seasonal structure thing where stuff sticks around happening at the end of this season or at the beginning of season 12?
I'm not sure. I thought it was supposed to be starting next season.
I thought maybe next season too. Like, it reads kind of like that, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. I'll look that up real quick. I've got the.
I mean, well, I mean, either way, if it is, just to be safe, go get it done. It takes no time at all.
No
Just
time.
do it. Just do it. You've got no excuse. There's no excuse not to get that gun. It takes absolutely no time at all.
It is confirmed that the quest is going away, says Light Razor in chat. And we can trust him because he streams here on the channel on Saturdays.
That's right. He's an authority.
Yeah.
Thanks, Light Razor. But yeah, go get it. It's too good of a gun for you not to get. It's free. It's a free good gun. Don't miss out on it. But speaking of guns that you can miss out on, we do know, of course, in addition to sunsetting and stuff like that, the loot pool for the world is going to be changing.
Oh, yeah.
Starting in Season 11. This is something they talked about in the TWAB last week. I think they gave us a list of drops that are going to be available in the world loot pool, while a lot of the stuff that we've got available right now is going to be going away. We're going to be seeing a lot of returning weapons from year one of Destiny 2, which I thought was pretty neat. There's really not too much to talk about there. It's just more so kind of a warning that if there's a gun that you're hunting right now that wasn't in that particular list, and the list was stuff like Dire Promise, Escape Velocity, Honor's Edge, Gnawing Hunger, Arsenic Bite, Main Ingredient. I'm gonna see how many of these I can go off of memory.
All right.
Outrageous Fortune, Truth Teller, Nature of the Beast. That's one I was happy about. That is an energy hand cannon from year one of Destiny 2 that was really good. Uriel's Gift, the Elatha FR4, the Old Fashioned, the Moss Epoch, Hawthorne's Field Forge. Oh no. Last Hope.
Yeah.
Timeline's Vertex. Bad Omens, Night Watch, Toil and Trouble. I'm literally just trying to bring up planetary drops and go down the list.
Like, you're doing pretty good here.
Am I? Okay, I'm gonna keep going then. Last Dance. Long Shadow. It's a sniper. Steel Sybil.
Okay. There's a couple more.
I'm getting blanks now.
Did you say Toil and Trouble and Lonesome?
I did not say Lonesome. I don't know about Toil and Trouble.
Okay. You got a lot. Was
that all on the list?
The full list. Uriel's Gift.
Okay, please.
Elatha FR4. The Old Fashioned. Moss Epoch 3. Hawthorne's Field Forge. Last Hope. Timeline's Vertex. Interference 6. Dire Promise. True Prophecy, Gian 7 Rifle, Enigma's Draw, Distant Tumulus, Escape Velocity, Honor's Edge, Gnawing Hunger, Arsenic Bite 4B, Main Ingredient, Outrageous Fortune, Truth Teller, Nature of the Beast, Last Perdition, Bad Omens, Night Watch, Toil and Trouble, Wishbringer, Last Dance, Lonesome, Long Shadow, and finally, Steel Sybil.
Dang, I'm proud of myself. I did get a lot of those.
I'm very proud of you.
I was trying to bring up a list of planetary drops and just go down it, but like, all right, good stuff. I think that's but all of those, that's going to be the world drop loot pool for season 11. So if there's a gun that's available right now, my point is that isn't on the list that we just brought up, get it now because it's going away next season. I know there's a lot of weapons that people are trying to farm out right now, but thankfully stuff like Dire Promise is going to be remaining next season. I know there was a lot of excitement about that because that was another hand cannon from year one that was really, really popular. But I think it's interesting they're handling this. Normally they don't give us the loot pool before a season drops, but of course with the way sunsetting is going to be working, there's going to be a lot of major changes to the way loot is going to drop next season.
Right.
And a lot of good guns on that list though.
Yeah. And like
Uriel's Gift.
There will be, and that's just outside of the season 11 gear.
Yeah.
So like that's quite a lot. And when we've talked about sunsetting in the past, we were like, if they're going to reissue weapons, if they're going to like if they're going to put them back out there, they better be like, or it better be a significant portion because sunsetting is going to take out a lot of weapons from the overall usability for in-game activity, and that's a lot. That's a lot and a lot of variety. So
it's a lot to replace.
What do you think the artifact is going to be for next season? based on these weapons, like for staggering combatants?
Oh man. Well, I see. Best case scenario, I think, would be for them to change up that mod system entirely.
Yeah.
I don't want them dictating what weapon I use and what weapons that I have to use for fighting against champions. And that was something they talked about a few TWABs ago. They said that was some of the feedback that they were taking in from current seasons, was that people don't necessarily like having to bring a scout rifle along to fight against specific champions or something like that. And that in the future, they might look at just making it so that you can equip those anti-champion mods on basically whatever weapon you want.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a heavy weapon, because apparently that's forbidden.
Yeah.
You can't have an anti-barrier LMG for some reason. So I would hope that starting next season, that it's less restricted in terms of what weapon you can equip it on.
Do you if they changed it to weapon slot over weapon, like just, well, honestly, letting any weapon be able to do that would be pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
But if they were allowed, if they limited it to weapon slot, where it's like kinetic, special, or heavy, what would you think of that?
I think that'd be fine. That'd be very fine. By the way, chat corrected me here. The one power weapon that you can use, of course, these mods on swords. Swords do have that artifact. But yeah, I think that'd be great. Just have a list of mods that are applicable to primaries and then secondaries, or kinetic and then energy and then heavy. I think that'd work fine.
Yeah,
certainly better than requiring me to bring along a sidearm when I'm running in-game max light content, just so I can pop a shield or whatever.
Right.
I think that would be a bit better. It's I always looked at it as being kind of like a lesser version of the prestige raids from year one, where it's like, stop curating my loadout. I want to use the weapons that I want to use.
Right. And oh man, so we had talked about this a little bit earlier, off stream, but I got Conqueror this week.
Yeah.
I want to thank 4 people specifically: Kevin OSX, Bo Solaris, Lulu, and Demise Town. Those are the 4 people that basically I ran all those with, and it was a lot of fun. It was eventually a lot of fun. I did feel pigeonholed into using certain loadouts that maybe I wasn't as comfortable with, and certain characters that I wasn't as comfortable with. But at the end, it was just like, oh, okay, well, I kind of know this now. I can change it up and try to help others get it too. So it's interesting. It's an interesting that Kargan, I think, is the most annoying boss.
Yo, yeah.
That I think so. I think that. Yeah, Kargan's just the most annoying boss because he's got those damage stages in between.
Oh yeah, he's got damage gates.
Yeah.
You just have to deal with waves of because I didn't do any of the Grandmaster nightfalls. I haven't done a single one because I didn't see the benefit in doing them. But congratulations on your title. You say Kargan was the worst. Go into that encounter. What was the strategy for running that boss?
So you can like pull him down. Yeah, you have to be pretty quick about taking his health down. And you do plate by plate, right? So like how we would go, and earlier today when I was running with Cheyenne, we would go to the left-hand side, we would take out the guys with the giant axes, and leave a few up so that not as much stuff filters in through the portals.
Right, in the next wave.
Yeah, and then try to work our way around the room that way. And it's just about like just staying up and staying alive for the most part. It is dumb. That's the one that is the most intrusive, I think. It's because not only is he able to shoot, but the wave of ads, the way that arena is set up, if you fall off the edge, you're done. If you get killed by the ads, you're done. He's got purple stuff that he shoots at you. You're done.
Yep.
Yeah, there's just a lot. There's a lot that can kill you, and that's the one that's don't. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts a lot.
So, being that you're somebody who now has that title, completed all these Grandmaster Nightfalls, you are obviously in that 1% of 1% of players who are playing that in-game content. So that you've gotten all that done, was it worth it?
No. It was. I don't know. It was fine. It's for a title. I mean, the title honestly isn't that much of a grind. It's just finishing the 6 activities. Finishing is the accomplishment, as they said.
Yeah.
And end of the day, I guess for bragging rights, it's cool, but you don't need it. You don't need it. If you want the challenge, cool, but yeah, you don't need it.
So, assuming Bungie continues the Grandmaster Nightfall system onwards into Season 11 and in the future, what potential changes would you like to see them make, both to the reward structure and to the Nightfalls themselves?
Better rewards. Because, like, if you complete it, like, you get the 100K. So I would get like a golf ball and a few other things. I think in order for that to be something that people want to grind for, you have to dump rewards on people, or else people are like,
oh yeah,
cool, a golf ball.
Why am I doing this?
Why am I doing this? And why am I saving this for later? Because to use on gear that will be good in seasons to come, or am I using it right now? And like, that's the debate that I found myself using a lot. It's like, why am I infusing into stuff that I have now when I could be saving it for the future, since everything's kind of going to turn over anyway?
Right.
The GMs do drop pinnacles, but it is, I don't know. The gear, I think the reward structure needs to be different. Being pigeonholed into a build because of artifact is stressful. And at the end of season 11, you're not going to have mountaintop and recluse you're not going to have mountaintop in order to do damage with. That's something that a lot of people were like, do you have mountaintop? And it's like, no, I do not. And I've been debating whether to get it or not.
It's a long grind.
It's a long grind for a gun that's only going to be good for the next 3 months. And I don't know.
And that's gonna be the big pain, because if there's anybody out there who's under the illusion that Bungie is putting in sunsetting because they want to fully refresh the loot pool, no, they're putting it. Let's be perfectly frank here. They're putting in sunsetting to get you off of mountaintop. They're putting in sunsetting to get you off of recluse. It is almost exclusively to get you off of those pinnacle weapons that they made in previous seasons and now believe are a little bit too strong.
Yeah.
So get your usage out of it now, and if you haven't started the grind towards the mountaintop, might not be worth it after maybe next week, because you're gonna have 2 months before it disappears.
Yeah, like only a few months before it disappears, and that's kind of nuts.
At least its viability disappears.
Yeah. Let's see, what else did we miss in the news this past week? Go ahead.
At the beginning of the week, we had some weird music playing in the tower for no reason.
Oh yeah. Well, hold on. Not for no reason. Did you look into the sun?
I did.
Yeah. What did you see in the sun?
Well, nothing anymore. My guardian is blind. Corneas are completely burned out. You can't respawn those.
You can't jump off the tower and try it again.
I couldn't find the cliff. I was just kind of wandering around. Nobody would help me over the guardrail, so now I've got a blind guardian because he was staring at the sun. But before the last vestiges of the light went out, I thought I saw a gigantic H.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. Now, is it the H from Borderlands? Do you remember that giant flying H from Borderlands 2? Or
It may have been maybe a little thinner than that one.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there's an almighty hanging in the sky, getting real close.
Mm-hmm.
Real close.
People were like, is it going to hit tomorrow? Is it going to hit? And I was like, dude, there's like one more week. There's no way that's going to hit tomorrow.
And of course, with this being the final week of the season of the Worthy, I wonder if we're going to be getting a trailer or two from Bungie, either on Monday or sometime around reset on Tuesday.
I don't know. Based on what they said in this past week's TWAB,
they
like, so they talk about how, let's go in it. Let's go in here. Let's get in it. Let's get into it.
Hold up.
At the end. Wait, hold on. Did I read that right? I think they said in 12 days they'll be talking to us about what's coming next season, right?
I don't recall them saying exactly that. Oh, you know what? Yeah, they did say something like that. I found it. So we look forward to continuing this conversation and continuing to evolve Destiny together. And in 12 days, we can't wait to show you more of what we've been working on.
Yeah. So that's the end of the season.
That's the end of the season.
Yeah.
So do you believe they're going to hold out on revealing anything until the actual end of the season? Because that would be a first.
The only thing that I can think of, and what I've seen, and what I've seen on the internet, that it's like there's got to be something that happens story-wise.
Yeah.
That is why we don't know anything and why they're not pushing to show us much. And if they, and even all the way back when they announced the season, the new seasonal model, they said that season 11 was going to be something that Destiny had never seen. Like the community had never seen Destiny. So I don't know. It's very interesting. What do you think? What do you think's going to happen? Just speculate.
So it would be really interesting to see them end the season without revealing anything. I think that would be a really bold move of Bungie, because it's usually they wait. I mean, within the past couple of seasons, what they've done is they've waited until about a week before, and then Monday or the Tuesday, a week before the new season would start, they put out a trailer. Then they'd put out some articles and some new advertising information talking about what exactly we're going to be doing. To get that hype train rolling. Yeah. I think it'd be something really interesting for them to wait until the Tuesday when Season of the Worthy ends and Season of the whatever begins, for them to just blitz all of that information out there. I wouldn't be mad at that, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, man,
that'd be very out of character for Bungie, but a pretty neat surprise. What I think is more likely to happen: Tuesday rolls around, this coming Tuesday, reset happens, new quest becomes available. That new quest is probably going to be the lore bit showing what's going to happen with the Almighty, and hint at what's coming next season, which, based on that other weird clip Bungie posted earlier this week of some Space Doritos playing some weird tunes.
Yeah.
I could see that tying it.
Well, I mean, this would be around the time we would have E3 stuff, and we've said that in the past.
Yeah. This is usually the week E3 begins.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I don't want to get too excited, but I'm kind of excited.
I am too, because obviously Season of the Worthy has been kind of a mess sort of season overall. It's left a lot to be desired, but Bungie has some interesting opportunities here. They're doing a lot of things with changing the way some of the mechanics of the game work. We've got that whole new engram system coming in so that you can kind of focus your grinding towards the rewards that you want. We've got the new world loot drop system. We've got changes to the end game coming. We've got new activities that are going to be a part of this new season. They talked about raids and stuff like that. And of course, narratively speaking, we've got the darkness, the big bad boogeyman in the closet that we've been wondering about basically since this game started, back in 2014. They've got a lot of really interesting things that they can do here, and they've certainly hinted that it's going to be the darkness that we're going to be at least learning more about starting really, really soon. So I'm really excited to see what they've got.
Yeah. Dapper Dave 29. I just want to say this so that it's on record, so that if it happens, we know who called it. Dapper Dave 29 says, I think we'll get a cutscene on Tuesday with nothing until June 9th. Going in blind.
Ooh.
Hype up speculation until an announcement with Jeff Keighley and Summer Games Fest for the next expansion.
I could believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could believe that. Like I said, Tuesday rolls around. I said quest. It could be a cutscene.
Yeah.
What I think it'll be is something to tie up the story of Season of the Worthy. Because, of course, we've still got that Almighty hanging in the skies.
Yeah.
We've still got that mighty flying H. And I think we're going to get some sort of narrative bit showing where we're going with that and how that's going to tie into what's coming in Season 11.
Oh, man.
And they did say that Season 11 was when things were going to hit the fan, right?
Yeah.
Is that what they said?
They said that it was going to be different than what we'd seen before in Destiny, which could mean a lot of things. I mean, we could be fulfilling Aura's dream of using the restroom as guardians. That could be one of the changes that they make.
Yes.
We could all get mounts, but all of those mounts are tiny little ponies, which would
beautiful.
That would make Connie really happy.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think you might be right on the money with that. Maybe get a cutscene and then we learn about it at some game events in the coming weeks.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with it. I like I said, I'd be perfectly fine with Bungie holding off on their usual advertising until the season begins, or like a day before. Certainly going to be interesting. Like, this is going to be weird because we have nothing to speculate on.
Yeah,
we don't know really anything that's going to be happening story-wise or
our
with
job's
the in-game
gonna be
content.
real tough next week.
Oh man, next week if we don't get like if they don't take the normal route of putting out their advertising stuff this week, next week's podcast is going to be real rough. It's going to be real rough because we ain't going to have jack to talk about. I'm going to need a monka for that one because oof. It's gonna be it'll be the PD podcast first cooking episode. We'll have to make our own. We'll have to make our own content there.
Oh man, yeah, that can.
I'm looking forward to it though. Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
But
yeah. So we got.
I don't know.
So that came up. We have reload perks are changing.
Yeah. Oof.
That's kind of a big change.
That is a huge change and one that I was none too pleased with.
Okay.
None too pleased with at all.
All right. Take the lead. Why are you okay, overall, what are the changes and what are you upset about with the changes?
So these were the changes that were announced in last week's issue of the TWAB. Basically, Bungie is going to be tuning and dialing back a lot of the reload speed perks we have to work with in the game right now. So stuff like Outlaw, stuff like Feeding Frenzy, those are the two biggest ones. Stuff like Rapid Hit are going to be seeing some nerfs in Season 11. And the reason why they're doing this is basically the same as why they nerfed the damage boosting perks like Rampage and whatnot a few seasons back.
Mm-hmm.
Too many people use them. They're by far and away the most popular perks to use on most weapons, and Bungie's dialing them back to make them a little bit less powerful, shall we say. Yeah. I think they started things off by reading out how different stats within the reload perk itself work. Stuff like reload stat, reload duration scale, reload empty duration scale, which is how your weapon reloads when your magazine's empty. There's modifiers upon modifiers upon modifiers that make up your reload stat.
I got lost in the weeds on this one. Like I kept reading numbers and I was just like, I'm not going to solve it. I can't solve it today.
That's that Galifianakis gif of seeing the numbers and whatnot. It's funny because like we always say, Bungie, give us the hard numbers. When you say you're dialing something back, tell us exactly how much. And it's funny. This is the one time they actually give us some pretty detailed information. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever said that.
It's wild.
I think I've always been like, explain it to me like I'm 5 because I don't I don't know.
All right, I've got it pulled up right now. So we've got stuff. They gave us some of the stats that impact your reload. We've got reload stat, which goes from 0 to 100. and maps onto an archetype-specific reload animation speed. So that's your standard reload stat. You've got reload duration scale. Most reload perks also apply basically a small multiplier to the reload animation, so that if you've already maxed out your reload stat at 100, you can still get a faster reload. So reload duration scale is what basically allows you to reload at faster than the 100 cap that's on the reload stat. Reload empty duration scale is the same as above, but it gives you faster reloads when your magazine is empty. That works with stuff like, I think it's Alloy Mag, where your magazine's empty, you get a super boost to reload speed. Alloy Mag generally gave you the fastest reload buff in the game. So those are the stats that make up your reload speed. If that made any sense to you, congratulations. You're a big brain. It took me a couple of times of reading this to understand a little bit of what they're talking about. But they're going to be making a lot of changes to perks like Outlaw. For Outlaw, they slowed it down just a bit. They've taken the reload stat bonus from Outlaw, which is at plus 100 right now, and taken it down to plus 50. So Outlaw is basically going to reload half as fast as it does right now. And also the reload duration scale has been knocked down from 0.9 to 0.8, which, again, all you need to take away from that is that Outlaw is going to be reloaded. It's basically getting half of the buff that it has right now, plus 50 rather than plus 100.
So what you're telling me is they're nerfing Izanagi's again.
They are indeed nerfing Izanagi's again. And this is... Man, Dave, you knew saying that was going to make me mad, because this is why I don't like this stuff. I don't like that Bungie is nerfing the reload speed perks. They're nerfing them again because most people are using them. Most people are using them because they get you back to shooting faster. This is an FPS. You want to be shooting. You use these perks because they get you back into a state of firing your weapon more often. We had this same problem. This same issue back in Destiny 1 where they nerfed a lot of these perks. I think they even nerfed Outlaw in Destiny 1 sometime around the Taken King. And I remember saying this on the podcast back when D1 was still in rotation. It doesn't matter how much you nerf Feeding Frenzy. It doesn't matter how much you nerf Field Scout. It doesn't matter how much you nerf Outlaw. I'm not going to start using, Guerrilla Fighter, which was a perk back in D1 where if you crouched next to cover, you could cover shoot, and you got a ton of benefits. Like Guerrilla Fighter was super strong. You got a lot of stability and like range and accuracy boost from it, but it just wasn't a good perk. I'm not going to stop using Outlaw because you nerfed it and switch over to Pulse Monitor. I'm not going to stop using Outlaw. Shoot, you know what? I'm going to pull up some of the worthless perks in this game right now. And if you want to start reading through some of the other changes to like Feeding Frenzy and whatnot while I pull this up, please, because I got a bone to pick with this one. I'm mad about it.
I'm not sure I can understand it, but okay, let's go. Let's see. Additionally, we're fixing an issue where perks that grant partial weapon ammo did not respect shot count for burst weapons. See, that sentence just is Latin. This means that these perks will now work correctly on pulse rifles, fusion rifles, and burst sidearms. So these perks will be more common on those weapon archetypes in the future. Slideways, slide shot, ambitious assassin, subsistence, overflow, lead from gold, and clown cartridge. Lead from gold,
basically
anytime I see it, I delete it anyway.
Yeah. Basically, those perks didn't really work on burst weapons. So if you had like 3-round burst sidearms or pulse rifles, they didn't function correctly.
Okay. So dynamic sway reduction. Reduced reticle movement from stability should now tell players this is working. Adds 10 stability over time in addition to accuracy. We got Pulse Monitor. Take critical damage and you can quickly switch to a now fully loaded shotgun. Reload amount from 0.35 to 1. And plus 50% handling, 5% faster swap speed. This works on stowed weapons too, which was already the case, but makes it more useful. Hip fire grip now helps you hit shots closer to ADS range. Still doesn't affect damage drop off or magnetism. 1.2 times aim assist fall off, plus 15 aim assist, plus 1.7 degrees precision hip fire angle threshold. Last time I had to talk about that, I went to prison. By default, when hip firing a weapon, the center of your reticle must be over a target in order to get a crit. Otherwise, aim assist. I'm sorry, I fell asleep there.
it's a lot of nonsense. There's a lot of nonsense changes there, but
yes,
I found the stuff I was looking for
cool.
on Dim and whatnot. But real quick, they're changing stuff like Feeding Frenzy. Feeding Frenzy's getting a bunch of nerfs. With multiple kills, you get faster reload speed and whatnot. I think Feeding Frenzy was actually a better perk than Outlaw. It actually gave you faster reload speeds than Outlaw did, but they're going to be toning that back a bit. But my problem with it is, and I just pulled up a bunch of my guns and looked at, my perk rolls versus the possible perk rolls on there. And I'm looking at stuff like the Spare Rations, because that's a gun that a lot of people use, a lot of people like. A lot of people have it. And of course, Rapid Hit is one of the perks that you can get on there. Rapid Hit, for rapid precision hits, you temporarily get an increase to stability and reload speed. That's another perk that's getting nerfed here. Nerfing Rapid Hit is never going to get me to use Threat Detector. Yeah. That's another perk in that tier. Nerfing Rapid Hit is never going to get me to use auto-loading holster on my Spare Rations. Nerfing these abilities that we like, that we're using because they get us back into the act of firing these guns that we want to fire in a first-person shooter, is never going to get me to use the lesser-used perks that are available on these weapons. You know what will get me to use those? Buffing those or making them stand out in some sort of way. And I think this was a real issue back in Destiny 1, and I fear it's kind of rearing its ugly head here in Destiny 2 when it comes to just targeting the perks, weapons, and abilities that people are using more often than anything else.
Yeah.
Because I think Bungie might be fundamentally misunderstanding why people are using Outlaw, why people are using Feeding Frenzy. Feeding Frenzy is probably one of my favorite LMG perks, because that's when you see generally the most use of Feeding Frenzy, because LMGs are strong weapons. You can take out a lot of enemies. They've got huge magazine sizes. So when you whip that LMG out, you take out a crowd of enemies, you get Feeding Frenzy to mitigate that crazy reload speed. Taking that away from me or nerfing it to an extent that it's not as effective as it is right now isn't going to get me to use other perks on there. Yeah. I guarantee you, after this nerf, Outlaw is still probably going to be one of the number one most used perks.
Yeah.
Feeding Frenzy, probably still one of the number one most used perks. You're just basically making it take longer to get back into the gunfight. And that makes me sad.
Yeah. There is one that seems interesting to me. Sneak Bow actually makes you you sneaky now with the stealth buff. That. It doesn't ping radar when shooting. So that's kind of cool.
That's fantastic, although it made me question why bows ping radars at all.
Yeah, because it's just a silent killer.
Twang. It's just a thwip, as comic books would put it. And it made me think, like, I kind of wish now that everything except maybe Wishender just worked like that naturally. Bows just didn't make a ping on your radar. Well, I don't know. Maybe that would be a little bit too broken.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. That might make him a little bit too busted in PvP, because contrary to popular belief, bows are actually pretty good in Crucible. They're pretty darn good. And I don't know. But anyways, I'm happy with the Sneak Bow change. That gives that perk some utility there.
Yeah. Third Echelon, another member of our fine Planet Destiny stream team, commented in chat, they nerfed Izanagi to promote other boss killers in the end game, but the most used weapon I saw in GMs I watched was still Izanagi's. That was one of them that I used as well. So,
and that's getting another nerf here, because now the entire point of Izanagi's is to fire a shot, reload, fire a shot. And the perks on that weapon were built around getting you that bullet back faster. Not only did it get nerfed, specifically with with Shadowkeep, now it's getting nerfed again with Outlaw. I don't get it, man. That's one of those weird ones that doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah. I don't know, but
bummer.
Yeah,
it's a real bummer. Don't like it.
Yeah, so like they're making changes to low zoom sniper rifles for future archetype updates. Hand cannons, evaluating hand cannon subfamilies. As an example, we're breaking out aggressive hand cannons to let us tune their range independently of the others. Adaptive auto rifles. Auto rifles in general are highly represented in Crucible. but generally feel balanced. Adaptive auto rifles are a little higher, so we're looking at them. We're not rolling back Season 10 buff, but we're adjusting the tuning a little to give other auto rifle subfamilies a chance to shine. So
I was really happy with that because, much like a lot of other people, Hardlight had me a little scared that Bungie was going to say, okay, time to dial those auto rifles back a little bit. This is the first time in a long time that auto rifles have been such a viable weapon, especially in PvP. I think most auto rifles feel pretty good in PvP right now. Adaptive frames could definitely, well, I think they're definitely ubiquitous in Crucible. You know, you're seeing a lot of Suros regime. You're still seeing Hardlight a decent amount. You know, stuff like the Galliard is really, really good. Summoner's really, really good. But I don't think they need to be. I think Hardlight was probably the outlier there, and they don't really need to be nerfed quite yet. I just think some of the other archetypes of auto rifles could probably be brought up a little bit. So I was really happy to see that they aren't just going to be strictly nerfing them.
Yeah,
made me very happy.
Yeah, let's see here. What else do we have? I think that's the next
hand cannons.
Hand cannons. Okay, yeah.
They did talk a bit about hand cannons, saying that I don't think they gave us much, but I think they mentioned that they were going to be looking at some archetype changes and giving some loves to like the 110s.
Okay.
Which very good. Very happy about that. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Lord knows that 140s and some of the other archetypes of hand cannons could definitely use a bit of a boost right now. Although, I mean, I'll swear with you, Bungie, if you want to just turn Bloom off, you don't need to do anything with hand cannons. You just turn a ridiculous system that has never worked in any FPS ever, including another FPS you guys developed in Halo. Just turn it off and we're good.
So, okay, so you turn that off. You also turn off the boss stomp mechanics as per Pin's Halos requests.
I would take that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I think we can start getting into some listener questions. Actually, like, there's only a couple. This is kind of a short and dirty.
I like it.
Austin 8 or V2 Games asks, what was the message from the ships? We got a mysterious message, I think, first from the Danish Bungie account, and then it came stateside.
Yeah. And I think the last I saw, Mesa Sean was like going into crazy conspiracy mode and figuring all of that stuff out. And I haven't after I checked his first couple of tweets about it, I haven't looked back into it. I'd assume Raid Secrets has probably been all over it. Because it turned out that, like, one, there's a really cool bit of lore there. So what Bungie was referencing there with those tweets about the darkness and then the sound wave that was playing, the way the Traveler communicates is through sound. Yeah. And in the lore, when the Traveler first came and met with humanity, they perceived the sounds that were coming from the Traveler as music. And that was how we learned to basically hear communications from it. Rasputin mimics this a lot with the opera music that he puts on all the time. That's one of the reasons why Rasputin likes music so much. It's how he learned how to communicate. And so the theory is that the darkness communicates the same way. And so that in that sound wave that Bungie put out, there's a hidden message coded into it that we're meant to figure out. Yeah.
That was another thing that we got this week. We got the Rasputin bunker design breakdown, which was kind of cool. Am I the only one who didn't realize that the middle console thing was his eye? No.
Is it?
Yeah.
You are not the only one.
I guess it follows you around. I didn't put that together until
I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice it either.
That.
Yeah.
Is that something they talked about in that article?
Yeah, they talked a little bit about that in the article. It's pretty cool.
I love the Bungie design team because they put the coolest stuff in there. Whether it's the Doritos getting progressively closer, which, by the way, shout out to whoever designed that in the Seraph bunkers. Yeah. Putting in representations of the darkness getting closer to our solar system and just putting it on Rasputin's wall. That's really cool attention to detail. Really cool attention to detail. And I had no idea that the eyes in the bunker followed you around. That's super cool, man.
Yeah. it was kind of bonkers. Like I just posted the article in Twitch chat. But yeah, that was one of the things they talked about was that they made the screen effects look really cool when you're talking to Rasputin. He said the way he moves on the screen and tracks you across the room, it's meant to be this intimate space that's really comfortable, but there's this degree of uneasiness with him silently and constantly watching you. Even if you jump up and down, his eyes move up and down with you.
Really? So they just one-to-one track you, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of cool, right?
That's cool. I never noticed that.
Me neither. not until I read that article.
Yeah, the next time I go clear a bunker, I'm gonna have to check that out and see if it tracks 1-to-1. That's cool though.
Next time you go down there, it just goes bum 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 bum. I'll be watching you.
No, please go back to the please go back to the classical music. I'm not trying to get into an 80s romance with you.
RT Mayday asks, given what little we know about sunsetting and what speculations are already out there, what is your biggest fear and biggest hope for sunsetting?
Biggest fear is that they're not going to replace the stuff they're taking away.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said earlier in the show, somewhat humorously, this is to get that mountaintop out of your hands.
Yeah.
But once you take the mountaintop out of my hands, and of course, Bungie's not taking weapons from you; they're just making them useless in relevant content. So stuff like
game
nightfalls,
activity. 95% of the game, you'll still be able to use it.
So just in stuff like trials and nightfalls and raids and whatnot, or whatever seasonal activity they're going to drop in. Dungeons.
Yeah.
They're making it so that you can't take that mountaintop. Okay. But if that's not replaced with something that I genuinely like using, that's what I'm worried about. I use mountaintop right now because it's a really, really powerful gun. It is it's a heavy weapon that you get to use in your primary slot, to be perfectly real. So my concern is that it's not going to be replaced. A, they're not going to replace it with enough new gear. There's not going to be enough new gear to really be worthwhile. And B, there's going to be nothing that gives me that same experience of having a powerful weapon in my primary slot that I can direct.
Yeah. Honestly, my stuff's mainly gear. Like,
yeah.
While I have some builds lately, oh man, I've got a build right now on my hunter where like I'm using the artifact. I'm using the artifact to give me like faster grenade reload while using double skips and creating Rasputin orbs that blind enemies. It's a really powerful build that I have right now, and that's going to be gone. That's going to be gone next season, because of the artifact. But it's like armor stings a little different.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel like in the future being able to transmog what I look like is cool, but man, it's a bitter pill to swallow when it's just like, okay, this isn't going to be useful anymore, like past this point.
Yeah.
And so I get it because of the mod slot. The mod slot is definitely why it needs to change, or why it's going to get phased out. But man, it just hurts a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot to get used to, moving forward. But I hope they know what they're doing. I hope that they're going to be replacing it with enough new stuff that's going to be worth your time, that you won't mind putting down some of your stuff right now. So that's always, I think, the best way to handle it.
Yeah.
I should want to put down my breakneck because this new gun, whether it be an auto rifle or a pulse rifle or a scout rifle, is so amazing that I just have to use it or want to use it.
Yeah. Third in chat says, just sunset the mods. I mean, if it works that way design-wise, if they can sunset the mods over the seasonal armor slot, like, cool. But how is that coded? Like, if it's coded where they can't do that, though, I don't know. We'll see. Gray Fox question: with sunsetting being the big thing coming up, what other big change can Bungie toss our way that can nicely disrupt the flow of the game? Also, be safe, everyone.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So we spend all, most of the time we spend our time in the question and answer section talking about how they can improve the game from like a almost a quality of life sort of standpoint. But I don't really know. I don't know what other revolutionary change, because they're doing the thing with the engrams.
Yeah.
Because that was probably going to be the biggest quality of life change I could ask for. They're making it so that you can kind of target towards the loot that you want. I guess the only thing I could answer would be what Dan brought up earlier, which is make it so that artifact and champion mods, anti-champion mods, are based on weapon slot rather than weapon type.
Yeah.
That's the only big revolutionary thing I could think of.
Different champion mechanics.
I would take that. No more teleporting captains, please.
Yeah. Somebody said earlier in chat, like different change to stomp mechanics. I think they've done a lot to us on our end to change gameplay mechanics. I would like to see them delve a little bit more into the champions and see what they can pull out enemy mechanic wise that isn't a stop mechanic.
Yeah.
In the long run,
there are options there.
Yeah, I would like to see the next like groundbreaking thing be something that they do with enemies rather than with us. So
this is something a buddy of mine, Black Fox, we've discussed at length over the course of Destiny's lifetime. There's so many interesting things they could do with bosses rather than just having them do a Nova that sends you flying, saying, "Hey, don't get so close." They could have maybe taken bosses have an effect where if you're too close to them for too long, they start to drain your super.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Vex enemies could like elicit a burn if you get too close to them. I think there's stuff like that they could do to be a bit more interesting than, Cabal Stomp.
Yeah. Cabal Stomp hard. Yeah. I don't know. It's something. And Aries brings up a interesting thing. Floating bosses have a stomp mechanic.
Yeah. How does that servitor melee me back? Or that Hydra?
No idea.
Schrodinger's foot.
Yeah. But Coffee 9 asks, if there's no trailer this week before the TWAB and no big trailer reveal within the TWAB, do you guys think it will kill any chance to hype season 11? No.
No. I think the opposite.
I'm very excited right now.
I think a radio silence from Bungie, knowing that a season is coming, would probably create an insane, especially if they do. Oh my God, you guys got me thinking about things, especially if they say nothing, but let's say Tuesday rolls around.
Mm-hmm.
They don't say anything about next season. They don't advertise any change, but you load into the game, you're loading in to go pick up your bounties for a brand new week of Destiny. You look up, and no longer is it a tiny H in the sky. That Almighty's real close now. Real close.
Yeah.
To the point where you can see it from pretty much all of the world spaces. If you just look up, like they did with remember when Destiny 2 first came out, and like after a little while, without Bungie saying anything, you could look up on Nessus and start to see the Leviathan. You had no idea what it was, where it was coming from. All you knew was that it wasn't there before, and it is now. I would, if they did something like that, but didn't say a word, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or, see, you got my mind racing now. Remember back in Destiny 1, before House of Wolves dropped, you drop into the Cosmodrome to do some patrol missions, and suddenly the wolves were prowling. You're like,
oh yeah,
what is this? The swords of Crota dropped out of the sky. I would love it if they did something like that, and I think it would create an incredible amount of hype.
Yeah.
Incredible amount.
The Vex incursions were kind of like that, a little bit.
Yeah.
On the moon.
They pop up out of nowhere. Yeah.
They pop up out of nowhere, and you're like, ooh, I get to fight them. Or,
you were the first time, and then you're like, oh, here we go again.
Going back, I kind of want to go back to Gray Fox's question a little bit. If they added more variation to your skill tree, like I saw there's been an image floating around on Reddit and on Twitter of like an expanded out skill tree that kind of reminds me a little bit of like it looks a little bit like what Destiny 1's skill tree was like, but in a diamond shape around, and that would be kind of cool. I think that would be a big disruption point too.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up that tweet right now because that was a really neat picture, and I think our buddy Nim Plays like retweeted it not too long ago.
Yeah,
so it didn't take me too long to find it, but yeah, I'd love expansions to the way we build our classes, so we can actually build a class rather than just grab a pre-made one that Bungie's got for us.
Yeah,
Let me go check.
Let's see here. But no, I'm very excited about it. I remember like watching the Sony conference for E3 back when Forsaken. When Forsaken was coming around, like we knew that they were working on something, but I don't think we knew exactly what it was. And then you just heard that Murder by Death song pop up and like basically kill Mickey Mouse. and yeah, it's just like that was a big moment, and I'm hoping for something. They're really good at creating these tonal poem deal, like trailers that just set off whatever the next thing of Destiny is going to be. And they did it kind of with Shadowkeep, but with Forsaken, that anticipation was built just because of the overall vibe that they were giving out with that trailer.
Right.
So
right.
I kind of want to see something like that, but even if it's not something like that, like I'm excited that they're not saying anything. It's the first time I'll say that. I'm excited that they're not saying anything. But we're gonna only take a couple more questions here. Pins Halo. While Bungie has been good about the stories they are telling out of game, do you think that they will be able to get the level of storytelling in game? The best stories are not in game, it seems.
Yeah, they've gotten a bit better when it comes to weaving narratives. I think the way that the environment told the story in like Forsaken, especially with the stuff in the Dreaming City, I thought was pretty cool. Some of the environmental storytelling in Shadowkeep I thought was neat, with the ghosts and the stuff like that and the pyramids. They're getting better. I don't know if it'll ever be as good as the stories told outside of the game, because of course Grimoire and stuff like the Books of Sorrow and the Rise of Iron lore, the stories told in those are novels. They're almost like their own separate history. So I don't know if we'll ever reach that Tolkien level, that Destiny Tolkien level of storytelling in game, but they've certainly gotten better.
Yeah. This latest lore book about the Lie was impeccable. And it when I read things, I kind of cast them a little bit. And like Fellwinter, Viggo Mortensen came to mind. And and like when it came to Fellspring, it was Yvette Nicole Brown from Community,
right? Yeah,
like I don't know, like just like those kind of sprung to mind, and it would be cool to see these things worked out as motion, like in motion, fully acted out, in game. I don't know. They tried doing this. They tried to do it in the comic books for a while, right? But there's a limitation to comics. In a way, in that storytelling, not everybody likes it. I personally grew up on them, so I loved having that kind of material
absolutely
in game or about the game. And I don't know. I think they have a top-notch story team. I think they do. I think displaying it in a way that makes sense for the viewer and the player is something that they need to work on.
I would agree with that. Yeah. And in the meantime, get on it, Bife. You did too good with that gunslinger story.
Yeah.
Now you got to do Fellwinter. I'm available, by the way.
TBL for Fellwinter. That's what we're gonna call this episode.
Oh boy.
Final question of the evening. BG Rising. What do you think Bungie can do to make exotic weapons feel more special than weapons like Mountaintop, Revoker, Recluse? weapons that are sunsetting because so many people rely on them.
Yeah, see, that's a very good question, because arguably stuff like Revoker and Mountaintop were exotic tier weapons. And I liked that they were. I liked the idea of pinnacle weapons. I liked that there was this really powerful, really strong gun that you could grind out a very difficult challenge in PvE or PvP to get. I liked that I liked the grind for Luna's Howl, Not Forgotten. Mm-hmm. I liked the grind for Breakneck. So I wouldn't want to see those weapons in particular really turned into exotics, because I think that kind of takes away a bit of the mystique there.
Like the Fate Bringer.
Like the Fate, yeah, where they say, okay, well, this handgun was clearly too good. We'll give it back to you, but only in an exotic form. And after we stripped, we'll give you the normal one back, but we'll strip the thing that made it special away from it. But how do they make exotics as useful? Make them compelling and unique. I think there are some exotics that are as useful as stuff like as stuff like Mountaintop. I think there are some exotics that are as useful as stuff like Revoker. I think when you have an exotic that's unique like Divinity. Mm-hmm. Divinity has a very simple ability, but it has utility everywhere in the game except PvP. Well, actually, does the debuff work in PvP?
I don't know if it works in PvP. But I had a pretty nutty time today in the in Pit of Heresy with it.
Oh yeah?
We were one phasing the boss with somebody throwing a well under his nuts. Shy was throwing Divinity on the boss, and I was going ham with a sword, and I was getting like 1.2 million damage on the boss.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, it was real dumb. It was real dumb.
Right. Yeah, people are saying, yes, Divinity does work in PvP. I'm going to need to try that out in a coordinated troll fire team of people just Divinity and bow.
I don't...
Seems a little silly.
Yeah. I think... Destiny 1 exotics were I don't know, man. I think if you made some affect different alien species, the different alien races a little differently.
Yeah.
A la the raid weapons from Destiny 1. Like each raid set had something that was like, okay, well, like this does more damage to, the oracles and
right.
different mechanics and raids and stuff. You could kind of do the same thing. In that instance, I think adding intrinsically if you took the seasonal weapons, right? If you took the seasonal weapons that you get that are legendary and replace them with exotics that have intrinsic, it's like, say you had to grind for Ariana's.
Yeah.
Instead of it just getting dropped in your lap. Would that Tommy's Match book, the scout rifle, I can't remember the name of it because it just went into collections like shortly afterward. That kind of stuff, if you replace the pinnacle weapons with those, would it be would it be a better grind? Would it be a more rewarding, more timely grind, especially since sunsetting's coming around?
I would grind for like a pinnacle exotic each season.
Yeah.
I would.
So I don't know. Like, yeah, you have to make it something that people want.
Yeah.
You have to make it evergreen. You have to make it exotic. Yep. I think adding intrinsic perks for either enemies or mechanics to them would make them more exotic. Like, even if it was like an extra slot where you had to choose between two, right? If you had an extra like thing on the perk tree. Just something.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. And I see it mentioned in chat here. I do believe Outbreak in D1 did something like that. It dealt extra damage to Fallen or whatnot. And I would 100% agree with that, because exotics do need to be unique and they need to be powerful in their own right. Mm-hmm. Not everything needs to be a DPS machine like Yallarhorn was. You can have utility exotics like the Divinity. I think Bungie kind of does a mostly good job on making their exotics unique, I think the best example would be one from this season, the Heir Apparent. I think the Heir Apparent is a good example of a worthwhile exotic. It is a fun weapon that provides a unique benefit and a really odd perk. Of course, that Arc Overshield, which is really strong against everything that's not Arc.
Yeah.
But also, the fact that you can't ADS with it and you have to sit there and spin up with it to continue firing. I think so long as they provide decent exotics like that are unique and offer their own unique style of gameplay, I think they're they're good when it comes to comparing it to pinnacle weapons.
So I'm going to talk about a weapon that not many people talk about. Boolean Gemini.
Yes! Scout Rifle. D1.
Yeah, you could change the perk on it. Like, that's what made it exotic. You could change it on a whim. You just had to go into the menu and then flip it,
And like it was either you got benefits for getting headshots or benefits for getting body shots, right?
Yeah. I believe so. It's been a while since I used that weapon. But it did, like, it felt good. I remember it feeling like a good weapon.
And that was a forgotten exotic from D1, man. It had one way or another. One way was basically 2 perks you could pick. For one way, it was bonus agility on precision kills, and it stacked up to 3 times. Or another, it was bonus armor on non-precision kills that stacked up to 3 times. That's unique. That's exotic. It wasn't a weapon that put out a ton of damage. It wasn't a scout rifle that shot rocket shots. It just provided either bonus agility if you were getting precision kills or bonus armor if you were getting body shot kills.
Yeah.
Interesting gun.
They're able
stuff
to do
like
it.
that.
Yeah, they're able to do it. I want to see more stuff like that. If you can, especially with sunsetting happening. If they can kind of like, I don't know. It seems like they're trying to future-proof. They're trying to tune so that they don't have to tune down the line. But stuff like that would really add more depth to the game, and I feel would make exotics more
right on
relevant in most
instances. I agree. Although that does lead me into kind of one final question here. Since we're going into a blind season, and there has been a bit of a trend with previous seasons, what D1 exotic, since you mentioned Boolean Gemini, what D1 exotic do you think might be popping up again, maybe next season? What would you like to see?
Oh, man. If we could get the exotic swords back, that would be cool.
Oh, please. Yeah.
You can just picture them with the animation. I don't know. I think, like, people are saying Hawkmoon, Vex. Super good advice. Super good advice would be fun. And especially if they, like... okay. So super good advice would be fun. Especially if it talked to you like it said. Like the lore says. That would be kind of nutty. You know what? If you take failsafe.
Put her in super good advice.
Put her in super good advice. That would be
I could see an entire exotic quest around that where you're basically downloading a copy of Failsafe and putting her in a gun.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's a Borderlands quest.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Yeah. And like people are saying Flaylock. Yeah, man.
Oh, Swallock was such a good exotic.
Yeah.
Such a good scout rifle.
I don't know. What about you? What would you like to see come back?
My default answer is always Hawkmoon, but since somebody in chat popped that one off, I would say, and of course my other default answer is always Pocket Infinity, but that's never going to happen. Pocket Infinity will never see the light of day again. It's stuck in the Cave of Wonders. It touched the gold. It didn't listen to the warnings about only touching the lamp. It grabbed that gold on its way in. So we're never seeing Pocket Infinity again. You will never again see the light of day.
Plan C.
Rest in peace, Pocket Infinity.
Plan
C would be very interesting. I would say Dragon's Breath.
Okay.
I want to see a gun that puts things on fire.
Okay.
And leaves them on fire. I want to drop a pool AoE that puts dots on enemies and doesn't let them step out of it.
Let's see.
Or Trespasser, because it's a big gun.
Ooh, what about Touch of Malice?
Interesting choice. I think if there was a wild Nim about, he would scream, "No, give me my Necrochasm."
Right.
Which, hold on, I get the feeling that's going to be saved for a future expansion.
Right.
Maybe it's not.
Yeah, but just going into a season where we're fighting the darkness. If we used one of its favored sons against it.
Oh, please.
That would be kind of neat, I think.
Poetic justice, especially if the whole links to Savathun come true.
Yeah.
Wielding Touch of Malice against Savathun would be poetic justice.
Yeah.
I think Oryx would appreciate that too, given his history with his sister.
Yeah. The sword logic finds a way.
Always finds a way. Good stuff, man.
Trespasser?
Well, all right, was that it?
Oh, Trespasser. Fuck. I'm looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at
the Trespasser, the RoboCop gun.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Interesting exotic. Very interesting exotic. There was a lot of cool ones. And I get the feeling a lot of D1 exotics are eventually going to make their way into D2.
Yeah.
And that's one I'd like to see come back with a new perk.
Yeah.
That and Dreg's Potato.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, pretty nuts. I'm looking at a Business Insider article that's listing all the guns. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember you. Oh, hey.
I remember that gun.
So yeah,
Feels
I don't know.
Good.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I'd love to see it come back.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I do believe that brings us to the end of the episode, does it not?
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe so. Like, hey, if you thought we were stretching it this week, if we don't get any new information this week, next week is going to be a beautiful train wreck.
Do you just want to play AI? Do you want to play AI Dungeon next week?
Oh,
we'll
absolutely.
If there's no news, we'll just hop in and
making an AI dungeon stream.
Yeah, it'll be 15 minutes before it turns lewd or loses its sanity, but we could do that too.
15 minutes? You think that long?
I mean, it could be stretching it. Yeah.
Oh, something's going to be stretching. Absolutely, something's going to be stretching. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into episode 241 of the Planet Destiny podcast. We've got potentially a very interesting couple of weeks in Destiny coming forward. We got the final week of Season of the Worthy, and of course, Season of the Redacted is going to be starting up real soon. Can't wait to see what Bungie is going to be doing with all of that. Of course, before we get on out of here for today, we are going to let you know where you can find us across the internet and what we've got coming up. Starting with the one, the only, the main man of the show himself, Mr. Dan Finity. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, hi. My name's Dan Finity. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dan Finity, where the I's are L's. I apologize for my I's are I's comment earlier. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dan Finity, where the I's are I's. That's where the I's are I's. This week, I did another reissue episode because this week's been super weird, like emotionally and with work and just everything that's going on in the world. I reissued an episode with Aura, and that was more about Aura is a very inspiring person when it comes to his work, just on Twitch with community and in charity in general. And so I feel like that kind of message needed to be out more in the world this week. And so I reissued that one. Other than that, I will be, I'm just gonna say, just be safe. Call your loved ones. Just that's it. That's all I can say without getting in trouble, maybe.
Right on. Message received loud and clear, brother. Yeah. Of course, my name is The Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at The Black Link. I've been a rather quiet boy for the past couple of weeks. No live streams. There's been a lot of stuff going on. Of course, the world's a crazy place. But this week, I am looking to get started on streaming again. I finally got some of my new equipment in, new parts for the PC all built up, and I've actually got some free time because I'm on vacation from work. Finally. I got to work all through the pandemic, and now that the pandemic's done, I'm getting a week of vacation, so I've got a little bit of extra time, and I'm looking to hold some live streams over the course of the week. Looking forward to seeing you guys there at twitch.tv/theblacklick. Of course, news videos will be going up on the Planet Destiny YouTube channel at youtube.com/planetdestiny. Make sure you're tuning in then. But all right, everybody, that is it for this episode of the Planet Destiny podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in this week, and we will catch you all in the next one. Stay safe. We'll see you later.